Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Robbie with Believe in the Run.
This is Megan with Believe in the Run.
And if we sound a little rough, it's because we are.
Rough and rowdy.
Yeah.
Fresh off the tails of the New York City Marathon.
Yeah, not besides daylight savings, just we didn't really do ourselves any favors this week.
Oh no, we took full advantage of the extra hour by not sleeping an extra hour.
I'm gonna go dangerous and try to put LMNT into probably water while we're talking.
Thomas is doing. Oh, I put I put baking soda in that element.
Oh, you did?
No, that'd be cool though. That'd be a good prank on someone if you put baking soda.
Crush up a Mento.
I thought maybe you were on that Morton kick where everyone's doing baking soda.
Oh, right. So like, what happened? You know, like when you put baking soda, like whatever,
bicarbonate,
the volcano experiment.
Yeah.
Isn't that what happens to your stomach?
Yeah.
Okay.
100% that's what happens.
I don't think I want that happening to me.
That's why Martin made that special formula.
The jelly that goes over it.
Yeah.
The anti-kid science project formula.
Yeah. I think that's the official name.
There's no way I'm trusting that on race day.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I tried it. I did it the year I had a very bad New York anyway.
Yeah.
So it didn't get me that 1%. But
yeah.
Like 1%. I did do you know Casey Neistat ran?
Yeah.
And last year he ran like a 3:01 or something like that. And so his goal this year was to go sub 3. Mm-hmm. And so he did a math experiment where he's like, if you burn this many calories waving. So he's like, I'm not going to wave to anybody this time.
I mean,
and he did the math and he's like, that would put me at a 258.
Yeah.
If I ran with the same energy level. And he ran a 257 seconds. So his math experiment worked.
It's true. It's like that thing. Remember that thing where if you cross your arms and run, you're saving more efficiency? Did you?
No.
Meanwhile, Megan's like jumping up and down, waving to everybody. Like, does your arm come down during a marathon?
I think,
or is it like this the whole time?
It's a lot of up.
I think there's why
my arms aren't sore.
Sorry, but have you ever seen I feel like there's some Kenyan runners who run like this kind of.
Like with their arms are like
real tight. So I think that's the whole idea is that if they're very tight against you, like you're running like this.
Megan does chicken arms.
No, my arms are like flailing.
No, but
they're not tight.
They're like, you think they're flailing, but they're like up high.
They're high, yeah.
I imagine that's how a turkey looks when they try to fly.
Yeah.
Right before they go into my deep fryer.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
They fly into feathers and all.
Wait, we're doing Fuel for the Soul.
Speaking of feathers, yeah, she was there too.
Yeah.
She was.
But yeah, it was a good, tiring. I feel like my voice is still a little. How do people cheer for 4 hours straight? I did it for an hour and I was like, I can't do it anymore.
Dude, I was cheering for 3 hours and I was okay.
You were running though.
Yeah, and screaming.
Oh, jeez.
So we got to the cheers. I mean, I guess.
Well, let's start from the days where we get up
the whole
here.
Weekend
yeah, because it was a blast. So we were up there with New Balance, partnering with New Balance to do a couple shakeout runs, to do a couple events up there. There's a car box. There was a cooking show with feathers with Meb, which, man, those photos are really cool. So if you're watching the podcast, you're going to see some cool photos that Justin Y'all took. Justin was pretty much our main photographer. We also worked with David Hash, who did an amazing job on the Friday shakeout run. Mm-hmm. But we made a smart decision this time. Like, normally if we get up and do like a shakeout run right when we get there, it's pretty brutal.
Oh, you mean we had a night to, yeah. We got in on Thursday night and our first shakeout was Friday morning. So yeah, I feel like that worked out well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't there. Well, I was there.
No, you came Friday morning.
I came up early Friday morning.
Yeah, you came dressed for business when you got to the shakeout. I literally
got to the shakeout from the train station. Train station, subway to the shakeout. No hotel, no nothing. I had waken up at 4:30.
Robbie's got a jacket. He loves it. Now it's made it to Berlin. Now it's made it to New York. What's special about this jacket?
I mean, the brand is called Painter, but I just like, it's a chore coat.
But you had to be on like a list or something, right?
Yeah, they make, it's a former Nike designer and it's a husband and wife team. They're in England and they do like 2 pieces of apparel a year and you have to sign up their whole
So
thing.
you don't even know what you're going to get.
No, they announce what it's going to be, and then they release you can buy it or whatever, pre-order it. And the whole deal is that they just make enough to supply for the order, but that's it. So they don't want to do any extra waste. It's all made in Europe, like in Portugal and France, but they pass the cost savings on. They don't really they make a profit, but it's just enough to provide a nice piece of clothing at a reasonable price, where you would pay probably like $500 or $800 for the same thing if you bought it from
crazy.
designer. But it's a really cool. I just like the idea of it. They just do it because they love to make cool things.
Yeah.
And anyways, so I love this, and it's a great jacket. Like I love it. I wear it all the time. Anyway, so I showed up with that and just hung out, talked to the people, met some people in line.
We had
So when we rolled up, Aubrey came out. We roll up in the morning, and we look across Columbus Circle. And technically, it was supposed to be a capped event, but we went through.
Fire codes be damned. We're doing whatever we want.
We were doing the corduroy hat giveaway, which,
Yeah.
by the way, if you've been to our things, they've been real popular, and people are always asking if they can get them afterwards, and we kind of only make enough for the event. And we had pretty much 500 for the last two events for Chicago and New York, and they go like immediately. So we had well over 500 people at the first shakeout. But guess what? We just made some that aren't related to a city. They just have the Believe logo on the front, and people love this hat. Robbie, you're a hat connoisseur. What is it about the hat?
I don't know if I'm a hat connoisseur, but I do. Maybe I am. I just like a good hat, I would say. So if I find a hat that fits me nicely, I'm like, this is my hat, at least for this time.
That's the weird thing about the corduroy one, that everybody who gets it is like this.
It's
It
such a
fits
good
great
fit.
hat.
It actually
hat.
is a really nice.
They need to study the dome on this sucker.
Yeah. No, everybody looks good. We saw a lot of people wearing it the whole weekend.
Yeah, which was fun.
I think it's also that it works well for like you can run in it, but also it's like a good casual cap.
I use it
yeah.
more as a casual cap than a running
Yeah.
cap.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
I don't want to get it all stanky.
No. And I had to get dude, for real right now, I feel like I'm in a weird zone. Like I can't think.
Yeah, my brain's not functioning.
What is happening?
Yeah.
I don't even know
We
what
had
words
daylight
to say.
savings. We didn't sleep.
I'm looking at this wall and I don't even know
we
what's
went,
in my head.
We made sure that we were very social while we were there. So anyway, so the first shakeout was amazing.
There's some Australians there.
That's
That's
why I
on
got
it.
my computer
Oh,
out.
that's what
'cause
you're gonna say?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were moving on to the second shakeout.
No, I was gonna say before we get to the Australians,
Oh my.
it was a great turnout. A lot of people that both showed up in Chicago and other like Brooklyn and some of our other shakeouts. They came again. It's just a fun crowd. It's fun seeing everybody. And additionally, we had some of our influencer friends there, like Tommy and other Floberg even showed up for a little bit. Just a lot of people coming by. And Meb,
Oh yeah.
who has actually won the New York City Marathon, now is New Balance sponsored ambassador athlete, I guess.
That works.
Yeah.
But yeah, so some of our fans from Australia showed up and they brought us gifts. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to Ben Stevens and Stuart Burns and
Yes.
say thank you.
What were some of the gifts, Robbie?
Yeah, I get kangaroo genitalia was a big one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing to the kangaroos over there, but they do not like them.
You think they just neuter them and then they're like, well, we should probably do something with these nutsacks.
It seemed to me like it was like the equivalent of like a rabbit's foot.
Rabbits can still procreate without a foot.
Yeah. So it's good luck. You just
No, but
saying
it
it's
was
a good luck charm?
Yeah, it was like hanging on a keychain. It just reminded me of like a,
I don't think it was for good luck.
okay.
There was a leather pouch that was
Like a coin purse
a coin purse. And then there was,
that was made from the scrotum of a kangaroo
right. And then there was a bottle opener
that still had hair on it.
that was like the hairy, looked like
Hairy balls
looked like what's hanging
Oh,
off
yeah.
hanging off a truck bumper, but Australian style.
with a bottle opener on it.
Yeah. So that's at my house.
bunch of
my
Tim Tams?
kids thought it was hilarious.
right,
so.
but it's the last thing. Like if I'm going to open a beer, I want to grab somebody's balls and crack it open.
Yeah, well, it's a kangaroo's, so
What's the difference?
I mean, it's different than a person's.
Yeah, you go
said
to jail
somebody.
if you had a person.
Well, you said last thing I wanted to do is grab somebody's. I was like, I mean, kangaroo seems like
I'm for kangaroos, like
yeah.
except for that scary one that's all jacked looking.
Oh yeah, the one that can. They're good fighters, right?
Yeah,
Like if you got into a boxing match with one, I don't even think Mike Tyson could go head to head with one.
well, I don't know if he's good at blocking kicks.
Yeah. Oh, so it's like kind of like a MMA style.
Well, think about it. Those legs are strong enough to propel that animal like 20 feet at a time through the air at full speed, like 30, 40 miles per hour. You take one of those to the face, and if it has toenails, you're dead.
Do they have toenails?
Of course, what animal doesn't?
We went to the Central Park Zoo, and I saw a brown bear that they had there.
Long tail.
They have toenails.
Yeah.
Like,
Then climb trees with that sucker.
yeah, it all makes sense when you see one of those up close in person. That I see how someone gets their face ripped off.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Like quickly.
Yeah, yeah, in the blink of an eye.
Yeah. All right. So
It's still Halloween season, right? Is that
We're
gone?
November now.
Oh,
the first shake was a lot of fun with Fleet Feet and New Balance, and we circled up the park. So we did the lower loop 2 times. But what was nice about that is it crosses the finish line. You ran a little bit with Karl.
Yeah. We did half of the race together.
it wasn't the Megatron experience.
No, Karl had a very different vibe.
Definitely my favorite thing ever was the Kafuzi video.
Well, hey, I said to Meg, I said, he must be over the moon that he was in a Kafuzi video. And he's like, yeah, but he was limping. And I was like, he was still in a Kafuzi video. Like, he's probably going to
Count it.
get 100,000 followers from that. I don't know. What would you say? Well, we probably shouldn't jump to the marathon just yet.
All right.
So let's skeet back to the.
So we had another shakeout run Saturday morning, and then quickly after that.
So that first shakeout, were we just free after that? Didn't we go to the expo or something?
I think you guys went to the expo. I actually did
Yeah.
a run in Central Park, which
yeah.
always sucks. I'm like, who runs here? This is always bad.
I say that every time I go. I'm like, this is not great.
Hilly, bikes,
Yeah.
other people.
Angry people.
Cyclists are angry.
Yeah. I get why people hate cyclists when
Yeah.
you go around places like that.
Yeah. But we didn't even mention Aubrey was with us for this episode. And this kid is over the moon.
Yeah.
Like, it's like seeing FAO Schwartz for the first time for a child when he comes to a marathon, because he's like, he wants everything. He wants to see everything, do everything.
And it was his first time in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Which he almost didn't make it because he didn't realize he had to have what's called an ESTA form filled out, and got to the airport and they wouldn't let him get on a plane.
Oh.
So he sat on the floor of, I guess he was at Heathrow or something.
Yeah.
And just sat on the floor for like 6 hours.
Yeah. Wow. That's not what you want in the 2 days before, man.
Watching his planes take off.
He still made it to the first event though, so it worked out okay. It just was a longer day.
Just
than
a little bit of a
intended.
hiccup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that was. I will say Central Park, not my favorite place to run in, but the idea of Central Park and the existence of it is always blows my mind whenever I'm there.
It's beautiful.
It's unbelievable. Like
You mean because there's a massive park?
yeah,
in the
just
middle of
that
the city?
massive park on an
Yeah.
island in the middle of a city, on a city that's an island, and has somehow not been developed.
What I
It's
also
incredible.
like
And
is
no cars. You know, the bikes, yeah, but at least there's no cars.
But also like you can see like the big granite stones that are underneath
Yes.
of the entire city and stuff like that. Like,
So here's what I was wondering. There's those granite boulders, which my kids love playing on. It's amazing. And it's fun just to hang out on them and everything. Was the rest of the island like that and they had to like get rid of them, like blast them and get rid of them somehow? Or was it just Central Park?
I'm going to say the whole thing.
That would be quite the task to remove.
Well, what you have to think about is I think the subway still runs under Central Park.
Dude, how many people? I was also thinking this when we were taking the train back. You know, when you first start out, you're underground. And I'm thinking, how many people died making this stuff? Because it seems crazy. Like that the subway's been around forever. And think about all the pieces and blasting and working underground that had to go on to build that. I don't know. I just think about that. And all the bridges. A lot of people sacrificed their lives so we could run a damn marathon.
I don't think that many people died.
I don't know.
I'll bet you there was more people like falling off the skyscrapers and stuff by accident.
Yeah.
Like you're like, hey, throw me that wrench.
Okay, so I was thinking that too. When you know the cigarette building or whatever, that really tall one.
Yeah.
How do you actually build way up there?
You start from the ground first.
No, but there's obviously cranes that aren't going.
Well, no, they built
3,000 meters.
They'll put a crane inside the building, so as they build it up, they can keep going.
It just seems unnecessary.
That's why we're not in that field.
Yeah, I mean, at the top of that building, I'm like, what happened?
People are gonna get mad if you don't jump in here soon.
And cut you off.
Yeah, you're talking about.
I'm ready to go back to our Saturday morning. Well, so the expo experience, I was like in and out real fast because I wanted to get back and see Megan's live show. But you guys spent a bit more time there.
We did, but not enough for Aubrey because he went back the next day.
Oh.
So we pretty much just grabbed the bibs. Karl, as much as he hasn't done as many marathons, what was it? I think it's his third marathon, right? Third marathon, but he's around us and he sees all the gear and he sees all the stuff. So it's not like when he gets to the expo, he's seeing anything new.
Yeah.
So he's not as like excited to like walk around, right? He's like, let's go. I think he was actually getting annoyed because Aubrey kept stopping and be like, can we do another photo? Then he's like, Thomas, can we do a photo over here? Wait, there's a sign over here, like we were doing.
You gotta love that though. Like
I do.
That
I love
initial like runner's excitement of like everything's new and.
If you watch Japanese anime or anything, you know when the eyes get real big and there's like 3 black dots and they're all shiny and tearing up. That's Aubrey the whole time.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we did that, and then I think we just kind of chilled out. Didn't we go, or did we go to the rooftop place?
We sure did. Back to the rooftop. There was a nice little place called, or it was a hotel rather, called M Social that had a rooftop space that overlooked the city and
Like
one of
Times
our
Square.
Yeah,
And you can just go there. You can go
Yeah.
there. It's actually pretty kind of a cool spot.
Yeah.
It's very like photo spot. It's like the perfect spot because you're up high, looking down on like 42nd Street if you're into that.
Yeah.
And stuff. But it was nice. We went with Jen Scrimenti, one of our favorite New Balance people, responsible for some fuel cell product or marketing of it. But she's great. And so we just hung out there. All right, first check-in. Races are over for a lot of us. So this is a time that I actually kind of love. If you're taking a break, take that two-week break. Enjoy yourself. Have some fun. You put in all that time training, all that mental and physical work. Just relax and enjoy. Now, if you weren't running and you're back into it, or it's post-race, you did Chicago, you did New York, this is the greatest time of year. You've got really nice weather to run in. You've got no pace goals that you have to hit. You just can really enjoy and fall back in love with the sport. So clear your head and just enjoy moving your body.
All right, guys, let's talk about one of our sponsors, CHERIBUNDI. They have a really exciting new product.
Okay.
What could be more exciting than cherry juice?
Gummies.
Oh, I do like gummies.
Yeah. What kind of gummies are we talking about?
Okay, so they're launching with Pure, which is just like the drink version, but in gummy form.
Okay.
So it's just the tart cherry gummies. And basically there's 12 and a half tart cherries per gummy. So you're getting the same benefits as the juice.
And what's that do? It's like anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, it reduces inflammation. You sleep better. You recover faster. There's a bunch of good science behind it. And it's also NSF for sports certified. So they've gotten all the credentials.
I thought you were going to say NSFW. I was like, man, we should be talking
A matter
about
of fact, Robbie, it is safe for work.
They're selling them now in 60 count tubs, which you can get at cheribundi.com or on Amazon. But if you go to cheribundi.com and use the code THEDROP, you can save 20%.
All right, cool.
It was like the weather was amazing.
The weather was perfect this weekend because it was like warmer when we first got there and then cooled down for the race. It was, couldn't have asked for better.
Yeah, and race, I mean, is there anything else we really need to try to think?
No, the car boxes were great.
Oh, yeah.
It was fun to
Sorry.
see everyone.
Well, wait, that was the second
and-
day. So the second
yeah.
day we went back, there was more people. Like Lowe showed up, who was on train to NYC.
Right.
Karl with Keys stopped by. A bunch of people. Fino, he's for Running Shoe World or whatever. But
But the second shakeout was great too. That one I actually did.
and then Robbie and I did extra miles.
We did a couple extra miles. It was a little interesting because
The park was shut down
The park
for the
was shut down,
5K.
so we just had to run up
West Side,
8th Avenue, or
West
whatever.
Side Highway. Yeah, no, not West Side Highway. Yeah,
Just the west side of Central
West Park.
Yeah.
Park. I think it's Park West.
We know what you're saying.
Yeah, whatever.
It's 8th Avenue though, right? I think so.
I think
It
so.
might be. Yeah, but
And
they call it something else.
it was a little nuts there's a lot of race day logistics happening around us. So
And people going in both directions.
Yes.
And it's a sidewalk, and there was probably another 500 to 600 people. So
in any case, it was still fun and we had a good time hanging out with people. It's always cool. People from there was Australian contingent and then, but we didn't even talk about, you mentioned Tim Tams, but the Tim Tams, dude, those things are so good.
we don't want to tell our Australian people because they keep bringing them, but I think you can get them here now. Didn't we get them someplace?
Can you get them here now?
You can, yeah.
Oh,
You
Because
can
we
get them
got
in
we got a
States.
bag
I
somewhere.
wonder if they're different though, because
Well, they're not authentic. They can't be,
Right.
Like, they're not from Australia.
the milk chocolate though, that's the difference maker. Because you need the milk in the chocolate. There's chocolate and there's milk chocolate. That's the whole thing with Hershey's. They stopped doing milk chocolate for a lot
What
oil.
is it?
It's oil chocolate now.
Yeah, it's like vegetable oil chocolate. Although I think there was a little bit of vegetable oil. I checked the ingredient list. It's messed up.
From the Tim Tams?
Yeah.
Their chocolate does taste different.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Anyways, but there's people from Singapore,
Yeah.
um,
All over.
Malaysia.
Every time someone
Everywhere.
says that, I think in my head,
Zoolander.
the Prime Minister of Malaysia. We must kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Sorry.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So that was a good shakeout run. And then, it was mostly just, I guess, chilling out for
Well,
some
chilling
of
out
our-
for you guys.
of our
Meg,
contingent.
Meg and Meg were doing,
We were handing out a bunch of carbs for 3 hours on Saturday after
That's
the shakeout
so
run.
much.
and I didn't mean to, but I ended up doing it all day because, so I went and then I was like hungry. So I was like, well, I'll go get something to eat while they're handing out car boxes. And Meg's like, are you coming back? Because I'm thirsty. So I was like, all right, I'll go get waters and I'll come back. By the time I came back, they're almost done with the first carb shakeout, but Emily Sisson was there. So people are taking photos with Emily Sisson and Meg.
I will say one of the craziest things about a major marathon is how many just
Running
amazing, running royalty you see everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Past and present.
and I think a lot of people, the Hilton where we were staying, it seemed like everyone was staying there.
That's where the professional athletes stay.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like, I think it's the quote host hotel.
Like the morning of the
okay.
marathon, Kafuzi's in the lobby taking photos.
Oh, yeah, he
and
posted
just-
a whole
yeah.
reel, and it's just like
From the
everyone
lobby.
in it.
Yeah.
But it is, and it was actually funny because later on, I thought I was with you. It might have been with Karl, but Clayton Young was in the
Yeah,
lobby.
I know. I saw. Yeah, I was with you.
And we went, and I didn't want to bother him because, everybody's like trying to talk to him. But I genuinely felt, and Clayton, you'll have to let us know, but I felt like we
He's
went
definitely
up.
listening.
I always assume nobody remembers us or anything. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever, those guys that I had to talk to when I was with Asics. It was like, but we rolled up on him. We're like, hey, and I was just going to give him the hey and go. And
Yeah.
he was like, hey, wait. And I think we were maybe he was talking to someone that he wanted to end the conversation with, or somebody, he gave us a more, or maybe he just does like
Maybe
us.
you had poppy seed bagels in your mouth, and he went to tell you you had something in your teeth.
Yeah, but he definitely was. But yeah, O'Berry was in the lobby, like anybody you could think of.
Oh yeah,
I was in the elevator with Alafine at one point.
Yeah.
Galen Rupp,
Yeah.
Dez.
Oh, that was a weird
Gabby
thing.
Max Gentry
I
was
passed
there.
Gabby Thomas on the street.
Yeah.
Day of the marathon, Galen, I'm talking to Bex, and he's, I guess, doing a broadcast
Yeah.
with her.
He's, like,
so he
hanging
just
out.
walks up and starts talking to us like
a normal
like
person.
we're normal friends and stuff like that. And I've always seen him as like he's so dialed in the races and like almost is like one of those racehorses with the.
I think it was the only time I've seen him smile.
Yeah, he was really relaxed
Yeah.
and happy. I was
Oh,
like,
and
oh,
he-
this guy seems cool.
Did he commentate the race?
I believe so, yeah. Because he and Bex were leaving together.
He's good at it. Because I heard him on whatever ones he's done before. I'm like, it's like
I think it's a new era for him.
it's kind of like how Tony Romo was the quarterback of the Cowboys and then went to announcing. Now he's like the best football announcer. It's kind of like that.
I think I had the wrong impression of
Probably.
Galen from his running and like seeing him at races and stuff. How he was like so like in the race mode. I thought that was like his personality.
Yeah.
He came up and I thought he was one of the nicest guys.
Yeah, it's kind of not fair that he got. I think just being part of Nike too was a.
He's the Salazar generation and
Yeah.
Nike, but it's also, I think that was a different time where access to athletes wasn't expected. Now I think
That's true.
You expect it a little more.
Can I tell? So I was coming down. I think I told you guys this, right? But I was coming down the elevator and
Yeah.
and Joe Benoit.
Oh yeah, Thomas told me.
Joe Benoit Samuelson was in there, and there was another guy who I think was an elite runner. I don't know who he was.
And then there's Robbie with his.
With my Legionnaire hat.
You were wearing a Legionnaire
Yeah,
hat?
it was after the shakeout.
It was no, it was before. But anyways, we're going down, and I hear him say Donna, and in my mind, like I just woke up like 15 minutes before this. I'm thinking, oh, they're talking about the Donna Marathon, which she ran with you guys or
Yeah.
whatever. This is a while ago.
Yeah.
I ran the half with her,
It's-
and then she dropped me.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, the Donna Marathon. And they're like, what? I'm like, I was like, didn't you run the, because they're clearly talking about someone named Donna. And I was like, yeah, didn't you run the Donna Marathon before? And she's like,
Do you realize who you were at that moment?
and she's like, yeah, she's like, yeah, I've run it before. And I said, oh, I'm with Believe in the Run. Absolutely blank stare from both of them. And we used to do race marketing for them and as I'm saying this, that you know how fast those elevators are? The doors open and like they're both just walking out and she's like, she's like, well, nice, have a good race to the guy. And I was just like, yeah, that's
I was gonna say you sat around a campfire with somebody that was doing what you did,
and I was trying to like get the words out fast enough so I could like validate my existence and my reason for talking to her. And there was no absolutely nothing from the other end.
Where do you go from there?
I just put the Legionnaire over my eyes, wrapped it around my face, and just walked away.
so
And yeah, that was the icing on that cake. I look insane.
yeah,
Like,
like they're probably. Is
probably
he going
get
on
out
a
of this
desert run?
elevator.
Yeah, she's like fast.
one of the greatest women's marathoners ever. And this guy who's like,
oh, geez.
Well, to talk about insane stuff. So
was
with
so bad.
the second car box thing, they went over to the New Balance store
oh yeah.
on the west side, and it's all wrapping up. It's almost finished.
Yeah.
But there was a guy in the store that decided he wanted to cause problems.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't Karl.
No, it wasn't Karl. And at this point, I'm still like, I thought I would go home, but they were hungry. So I was like, I'll go get you guys sandwiches, bringing back food for them. Laura Green shows up, which was actually, I had a very nice conversation with Laura Green. I actually enjoyed her company quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You actually.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Laura.
She's
I'm
pretty
just saying.
Like, I hate Laura Green.
Well, no, but I'm saying she wasn't doing,
She wasn't in her mode.
it
like
wasn't
her-
like doing jokes or
I got
anything. We
you.
were having a nice
Yeah,
conversation.
I know what you mean.
She's
And
probably still pretty funny.
oh yeah, no, her sense of humor I really like because she's got that little bit of an edge that's like, there's a little tinge of truth in every funny
Yeah.
thing that she says. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sarcasm, I guess, is the word I'm looking for.
Fair.
But she was great. But this guy starts like, you can tell he's trying to do things to try to steal stuff. Like first he took a card box and the lady who was working at the store was like, excuse me, those are 4 people that registered.
Well, no, it would have been one thing if he just took it, but he just started taking the food out of it and was just eating it in the middle of the store.
He went full raccoon on it, Robbie.
I don't see the problem here. Continue.
So then he grabs a box of shoes and he's like trying to tell them to go check on another color in the back.
Nice.
You know what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
And so they're like, sir, you got to go. And he's like, I don't got to go nowhere. And so he starts getting all angry. And you can tell, like, this dude's not right. Like, he's insane. So this guy in line says, hey, the woman told you you had to leave. And then that set him off.
Turned off on a whole
Like,
thing.
who do you think you are? this isn't about you. Why
Probably
are you
some
in
swear
there?
words in there.
Yeah,
There were several.
editing for the pod. Why? We can do anything I
No,
want, but I'm not
yeah.
going to. But yeah, he was going off. So the lady starts calling for security. You know how they have headsets?
Yeah.
And I can see the security guy at the front door and he's not doing anything. And I'm like, this is getting weird. Like these two dudes are going to fight.
Yeah.
So I decided I'm going to go up and get the security guy, like tell him he has to come back. So I go up and he goes, sir, calm down. I got this. I'm
You're
like,
the problem.
Like, what do you mean they're back there? It's a woman alone with a guy who's belligerent. Like,
Right.
what are you doing?
Right.
Like, why are they paying for security?
Yeah.
And so he's like waiting for a cop. And the cop came in. She knew the dude by name.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it was pretty funny.
Nice.
She was like, "Oh, it's you.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go."
Let's go. Go to the next door and do it, and then eventually, something worse will happen.
whole
Yeah.
thing.
So he got carb loaded though.
He did get some snacks.
I mean, it can't
I
hate
don't
the
know if
hustle.
it would have been rad if he was running. We saw him out on the courts.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had a pretty packed time before the race even started.
Well, that night we even got to see some new product.
Yeah. We went to a little media event with New Balance, and they just had out on display basically all the product for 2025.
Not all the
Okay.
product, but a lot of the like race day product. So it was a lot of fuel cell, a lot of stuff. I saw some trail stuff, but there wasn't like the daily stuff. It was like kind of the
Right.
sexy product.
The best part was that our friend Jen, who we mentioned earlier from New Balance, had a singlet for me for the race. And while we were in this area media thing, looking at all the new product, there was a singlet just sitting there. And it was a size small, which is what I needed. And I was like, I could just take this, joking around. And she let me take it.
Nice.
So I got to wear
So you got to wear a
Oh,
prototype.
elite singlet.
And it was lovely.
Okay, but first off, I got to give a compliment to the colorist at
Yeah.
New Balance. Like the team that works on color for New Balance, the new product coming out there's some gorgeous
I can agree with that.
colors on it. And I have to say, the complaints I have, I really like the Rebel 4, but there was a few things that I would have liked tweaked on it. The Rebel 5 looks amazing. I know we can't talk about it too much or give too many details, but I think it's going to be a hit. I definitely think it's going to be a shoe that competes with one of our favorite daily trainers now, the Adidas Adizero Evo SL.
Yeah.
I think they go pretty much head to head. I would say that the upper on the Rebel looks like it's designed for more performance than the Evo.
Yeah. I do think all the product we saw looked really good.
Yeah, and the SC Elite coming out next year. I don't know when that's coming out. I think it'll be fall next year, but it looks really nice. They dropped some weight off it, and it's
I like
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Try not to say anything
Say-
about it
say
while
stuff.
saying.
Let's just move on. Other
Yeah.
than it looks good.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks more aggressive.
Yeah. We'll say that.
Cool. So yeah, that was a pretty good day.
Best part of that whole thing, though,
What?
the concierge. When we walk into this hotel, we walk
yeah.
into
Oh,
One
yeah.
New York, and the concierge, and I thought he was with New Balance or something because he's like, "Oh my God, it's Believe in the Run." I was like, thought he was joking.
Yeah.
And turns out he's the guy who watches a lot of our videos.
An
Yeah.
actual fan.
Yeah, sitting at the front desk.
Yeah.
And so we talked to him for a little bit. Do you remember his name? He gave it to us. I don't want to try guessing at it, but
Yeah, I don't remember.
He's
But
very nice.
he
though.
was great. And then, so we went upstairs and did all the looking around stuff. And we came back down. He was like, "Hey, can I get a picture?"
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was rad. It's like, hey, you're a normal person
Yeah.
out in the world.
And yeah, and then I don't know, just basically had dinner that night and then
Our normal place.
chilled out, and it was race morning.
Which is always an early start because they have to bus you all the way.
What time? I honestly forget what time it was.
4 a.m. is when we got up.
And luckily
The
you
buses.
had that extra hour though.
Wait, you didn't
Yeah.
have to get up because you...
Right.
Oh, okay. So I got up at 4 a.m. My mission was to get coffee for them because there's no coffee makers in the room.
Yeah.
So I got up at 4, got downstairs at like 4:30ish.
Yeah,
Or right
right
before
before.
4. It was
Yeah.
like 4:20. The place doesn't open until 4:30. There was a line in front of me about 75 feet. By the time they were opened at 4:30, there was a line out of the front of the hotel.
Isn't there a Starbucks next door?
It doesn't open till 5.
So I get the coffees for Karl, Megan, and Aubrey. And I said, Karl and Aubrey, just pop down. I'll hand them to you. And then, so we all got coffee. And then
I had some 5-hour energies. I could have just given you those.
I think there's something about, like, Karl wants
coffee.
it hot, right?
Yeah, like I don't want cold coffee in the morning either. I love hot coffee.
Just saying.
Got to get the engine revving.
Do both.
Double fisting coffee and 5-hour
Yeah,
energy.
it's too early because you still have miles before the race.
Yeah. That's so this is the first. Sorry, I keep doing stuff in this mic, like smacking my lips. I'm sorry, people.
Lip
It's
smacker.
terrible. Yeah, I don't know. I think I need to hydrate more. But anyways, so this is the first major marathon where I did not have to run.
But you came to.
Yeah, so it's actually nice.
There's a nice thing about that, isn't it?
Yeah, to experience the world.
You get all the
eyes of a
fanfare
normal.
without the stress.
Dude, I don't know. I think you guys missed out. I freaking loved it.
I do. Well, here's the thing. I knew this was going to happen. 2 years ago, we ran New York. It was crushingly hot, 75 degrees, just brutal at the start. And it got warmer during the day. The second one, I was having the coughing thing, but it was still a warmer marathon. It was probably like the 60s.
Yeah.
This one, we come and it is chilly.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have created a more perfect race day weather situation.
No, you can't. It's like, what was that, 41, high 54?
Do you think overcast would have helped a little bit?
I was really cold in the beginning, so I was very happy for the sunshine.
Okay.
And it didn't really, it was cool enough that the sun didn't really bother us, I don't think, while we were out there.
Wasn't windy.
There was some wind over the bridge, but that's to be expected.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah.
Now, I got the coolest job, though. For people who do this normally, I will say the pre-New York thing is pretty horrible. You get bussed over, you sit in a field, you wait for your corral. You can be out there for 2 hours before you start. It's just...
We had a little bit of an adventure. A little bus mishap. Took us a little longer to get there.
You're still on a VIP bus.
Yeah, true.
And when you get there, you're going into a tent that has coffee, food, and private bathrooms.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different experience. So I get a press pass so that I can go to the start. And because our bus took a long time to get there, I get to the tent and basically get to walk inside. I see the people that are in the tent, say hi to different people, and they're like, "Hey, we got to go because we got to get back." And I was like, "Oh, I can't." Like, I woke up at 4.
Yeah.
I've been here
To sit on a bus.
rode all the way over, and now I got to leave. So I thought we were leaving, but no. What we were doing was they took us to these double-decker buses, like the sightseeing buses.
Yeah.
Right in between the two start lines.
Oh, that's cool.
So one side is the pro start line. One side is the general population sideline.
Well, you're between the blue and the orange waves.
Yeah.
Or corrals or whatever.
So we're on this bus. I'm 25 feet from the cannon. So, which was good and bad.
Yeah, like Jack Sparrow over there.
Yeah.
They announce you and warn you that the loud noise is coming, and every time I'd still be
Oh,
like,
it's loud.
Yeah, you only had to listen to it one time, though.
No, I heard it several times.
Okay. So we're sitting on the bus. I'm real close to it. I'm close enough that I can hear the National Guardsmen going to people, "You do not want to be up there. Move over here so that," because it still
Your
shoots.
ears don't get blown out.
Well, I still think it potentially can blast something out of it.
That's cool.
It's not completely. It doesn't have a shell, but you're still exploding.
Yeah.
Around in it.
Isn't it crazy that in the Civil War they just stood by those things with no
Right?
no ear protection?
I didn't have ear protection. I'm sure they just put cotton in their ears or something.
I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, you cotton eared ninny mugging. That's probably where that comes from.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, you're on top of this bus, and I can see I'm like, "Hey, Clayton," and he's waving to me. I'm like, "Nico, what's up?" And we can see him. I can see all the women. It is like the most incredible spectating
There's
spot.
helicopters going over.
Helicopters. But I'm sitting there with a video camera and a regular camera trying to do both.
Yeah.
So I'm not covering my ears. I'm not doing anything. I know the blast is coming. it still rocked me so hard that I get like knocked back.
Whoa.
And I felt my brain go from one side and kind of slap against the other side. And everybody on the top of that bus is like, you know,
like how far away was it for real?
Okay, so the distance between, it's a 2-lane or 3-lane highway.
Yeah.
So whatever the other side of the road would be.
Oh, so 20 feet away, 25
Yeah.
feet away or something?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I knew it was going to happen.
Because they warn you.
So the next time the women go off, because they go off before the men, sitting up there, I know it's coming. I still like...
They actually let you light the fuse.
Yeah. I still feel like my spine when it goes
Man.
off. Like, that's the thing. Like, you think about warfare and you see it in the movies and it's like, pop, 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 pop. But the feeling, that shockwave and the just overall entire body feeling you get when one of those things goes off next to you. I don't know how you would like, each one is like a reset.
It's kind of nice though, right?
I mean, I did I don't feel that pain in my leg anymore.
Yeah.
Second check-in. All right, sticking with the theme of finding ways to enjoy running. This time of year, it's kind of like getting those sweatshirts out or anything like that. This is when I go through my gear and kind of look at, you know, do I got the long sleeves? Do I have tights when I need them? Do I have a windbreaker? But for me, the temps here in Baltimore right now are hovering in the 40s and 50s. It doesn't drop down a little bit until after Thanksgiving. So, like, this is a perfect time to experiment with, can I get by with a short sleeve and a vest? Can I get by with just a long sleeve? Can I wear a cotton t-shirt if I want? Just try to start figuring out what your body prefers in this type of weather.
All right, guys. LMNT is still a sponsor of this podcast, but for a limited time, they're offering their chocolate medley.
Ooh, that sounds pretty delicious.
You know, it's not like you're not going to put that in your bubbly water.
No.
You could.
Could you?
You
Okay.
could.
You want to heat it up, I think.
Yeah, some hot water with either the chocolate mint, the chocolate chai, or the chocolate raspberry.
I've heard it's pretty good in coffee too.
You could also put it in your coffee.
Okay.
Would you do it before your run?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some hot coffee, some chocolate medley.
I do like a mocha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. Also, our offer is still available. So you can go to LMNT.com/thedrop and get a free LMNT sample pack.
Do you know if the sample pack would have this chocolate in it?
Yeah, it does.
There you go.
So go get them and enjoy.
I mean, there is
It's been
something.
recalibrated.
I know setting off large fireworks isn't exactly the same, but
Yeah.
when you feel the thump in your chest, it feels pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's power. But
Yeah.
Meg, so I was even able, so I could see the pros. I didn't think I was going to see Meg and the crew and Aubrey and Karl again.
Well, so wait, because right before that, we had to go into our corrals, and New York Roadrunners gave us the corral change cards so that we could all start together. Even though, because it's just all random where you get placed.
Right.
It's by time, but you could be in blue or whatever. And so they gave us these little cards, but Aubrey didn't have one in his bag, and so we were
Panicking.
like, you can just come with us and I'll explain it. So we're like, he's like mentally preparing himself and like building up this story of how he's with us and how we're going to explain to these volunteers to let us get into the corral. And we walk up there and we were with Danny from New Balance, and he goes to show him his card and he starts to explain it. And the guy looks right at me and he goes, "Oh, believe in the run? Yeah, you guys go ahead."
That's cool.
Meanwhile, Aubrey was like,
Yeah. Aubrey was like losing his mind. He was like, "That was the coolest thing ever."
You just got to act like you're there.
That's, yeah, as long as you act
and
like you know
have
what
somebody
you're doing.
recognize you.
But also, if you act, it's funny because when people were trying to get in the shakeout run, not everyone had their codes. I'm just like, just tell them like you're here for Believe in the Run. Like people were like, "Can I get in?" I'm like, just walk in, just act like you're here, like you belong here.
Yeah, there was too many people for him to do it. They loved us for that, by the way.
But yeah, so when we start walking into our actual corral to get lined up, I see these buses and I see everyone wearing the badges that Thomas had on earlier. And I was like, wait, are they up on those buses? And then all of a sudden I heard these screaming, and it was like Jen and you and everyone up
Nice.
there. It was cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a good feeling to go up to the start line knowing that. But here's the thing. So Meg and them were up pretty close to the front.
Yeah.
And where the buses were for your wave, there was still like 100 yards, 200 yards up the bridge. You can see from like one of the photos in the Instagram. And it was packed. Like it was being on top of that bus and being able to see like the corral fill up all the way to the front to the bridge.
Yeah.
You're looking at the bridge, you're seeing those supports, and you look down. It's just massive. Like it's hard to comprehend how many people are in it. And that's just one wave.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty awesome. And anyways.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was also funny because I feel like we're like friends with Ted Metellus now. So when he started to do his announcements, like Karl, Aubrey, and I were everyone's like, oh, and now Ted will talk. And we're like, yeah, we're like screaming for Ted. And everyone's like looking at us like, what is happening? But yeah, so it was fun to hear him kick us off in the morning.
He's got it down.
Did you shout the O during the national anthem?
No, I tried to let it be for the people this time.
Man, I'm all about shouting the O, but when I'm in enemy waters, New York Yankees territory, or just anywhere that's not Baltimore, it's like Thomas still yells the O. So if you're not,
I don't even go to the baseball games. I yell the O.
So if you're not from here, when the national anthem was played anywhere in Baltimore during the O say, can you see? Everyone yells O for the Orioles. So no matter where even at races in Baltimore, anywhere, they'll yell it. But if you're at an Orioles game, especially, it's awesome. Or the Ravens game. But Thomas, every time we're at a race, still acts like we're in Baltimore. And he yells the O at the top of his lungs.
Which scared people as much as the cannon going off.
Yeah, people would jump 10 feet. Every time, and I'm just like looking.
Well, I mellowed on it because it was scaring people. I thought it was just a known thing that was going to happen.
The only thing worse than that is when we were at the 5K here in Baltimore, and they were doing a moment of silence, and Thomas had headphones in and started just like, he was like, "What's happening?"
What was
and
cool
I was like, "How do I just die right here in this moment?"
They were doing the moment of silence. I didn't know it, and it was like Hell's Bells came on or something, right like when they're getting ready to go. And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, guess what song just came on? Megan's like, shh.
I was literally trying to figure out how do I just like not be here in this moment? Like how do I melt into the ground?
That's amazing.
Yeah. But so the race itself was frigging amazing. It was cold, but it was like perfect. The crowds were packed, but we were like right towards the front. So I never felt like in Berlin where it was like you were like having to weave. It just felt like a better flow of people.
Yeah. And so we got those buses weren't what took us back. The double-decker ones are just there for spectating. Oh. But so we got on buses and we headed back and basically had to go through the tunnel, like if you go all the way up around, and made it up. And they dropped us off right in front of, and I don't even think they planned this, but right in front of the New Balance store on the Upper West Side.
Okay.
So Kristen and I hiked over to where the New Balance spot was on the 24th mile.
Yeah.
And New Balance had this great little setup where like they're handing out like scarves and there was like food and stuff like that. And then my press pass got us into.
Yeah. So about that, I got there with my family. So my wife and kids came up and, I brought them in tow to go cheering in the morning, and they had some cold weather clothes, but it wasn't like their winter coats, like hoodies, winter hats.
My kids run around in shorts. You got cold?
Well, if they're running around, yeah. But we got the New Balance cheer zone, and all I see is just cheering. It was a huge section, like a whole corner of this.
It's where it cuts into the park.
Yeah, and I didn't know that we had any access to anything. I didn't even know there was like a hospitality area.
You mean the private bathroom, the food, the coffee, the couches,
or there was even a small bleacher section for cheering. Which, by the way, I didn't know this was happening. And also, if anybody showed up for the cheering section, I'm sorry because I didn't even know, because it's not like people could just get in there, which was a little bit of a weird miscommunication, maybe.
A little bit, but it worked out for us.
Yeah, but there were people who showed up who I was like, I don't know what, people from Baltimore are friends of ours. Yeah. I was like, I don't know what to do because I I can't even, like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't even know this existed until Thomas got there and told me he was getting coffee.
He's like, where are you? And I'm like, getting a sandwich and a coffee.
It's like, what? So, because me and my family were
out in the cold.
Out in the cold. My kids were like,
it was a Dickensian story.
They literally look like, little orphans.
Please help. Please help. I was like, sandwich.
They were troopers though. They stuck it out.
In typical Robbie fashion though, like Robbie and I had access to the like private stuff. Robbie rolls up with like a caravan. There was like Robbie, his wife, 2 kids, and
Nate.
Yeah,
Nate from New York City. What's his name from the Faster Bastards?
Yeah, he's like, can they get in? He's like,
I didn't want to leave him hanging out to dry, so I did get the one Nate in. But we ended up just hanging out and getting a little bit warmed up because then they could like sit in the sun, because we were on the shady side the whole time. No. Because here's the other thing: we tried going over to the sunny side, and then I was worried I was going to get trapped inside of
Central
Park. And so because the police weren't letting you cross at certain areas, it was like a whole mess.
Well, in the beginning, you look at it and you're like, okay, even in New York, the elite people, the really fast, it's still pretty thick, but you can cross.
Right.
But if you wait, kind of like Chicago, if you wait till the mid-pack runners, 330s and stuff like that,
no way.
It's just to try to cross is ridiculous.
And so, I had to go to the bathroom, and then I was walking all over the place because I didn't know the New Balance thing existed.
Heated, private,
I found a porta potty on a construction site and did that. And so we finally got there, and it was great. And the cheering section was on this corner that was the perfect
like people had to cut the corner, except for you. We'll get to that in a second. But everybody else kind of did a straight line. So they run right into where you're standing. Yeah. So it was a great place for taking photos, for video, and just you're also in the sun.
Yeah. And so, when we weren't at that point, we were in the shade before I knew about the New Balance thing to see the first women and men come through. But I was standing up on a wall, so I got a good view of it. And that was cool to see. And I was especially impressed by Des Linden. I didn't expect her to be like
so competitive.
Yeah, she was right there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if she's just going to run it as like
right.
Like, hey, I'm here in New York running.
She's not officially retired, right?
I know,
she's still a professional.
I guess, but like I don't know. I just get like you don't see like posts about training hard. You see her doing
right.
You know, nobody asked us, and
I mean
that kind of stuff.
I would say. I don't think she expects to win it.
Right.
Where they're in 4 years ago, maybe there was an outside.
Like Shalane's running. I guess Shalane's retired though, right?
Yeah, she officially retired.
All right. Des, I don't know what your official designation is.
Anyways, whatever. She looked great.
Yeah.
And she looked awesome out there.
And she was wearing a new version of the Hyperion Elite.
Yeah. So maybe, something to that. But everyone else looked really good. It was cool seeing Clayton and Connor pretty much separated by only a couple seconds at that point. And but then we were on the corner.
They're the Meg and Meg of
pretty much.
They're the men's version of Meg and Meg.
They're just a little bit faster.
Yeah, but they're men, so
yeah, true.
It's equivalent.
Equal.
It's equivalent.
Yeah.
Olympians, totally fine.
And then when we were on that cheering section on the corner, that was awesome. I gotta say, it was incredible.
It was cool to be there and see up close. Like we saw the guy who did the skateboard all the way, did the whole marathon. He literally has only one appendage that looks like it could get him.
He didn't have legs.
He didn't have legs, didn't have arms.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how he did it.
He had one arm?
No.
I think he had one arm.
No, he doesn't have an arm.
I think there was an arm in there.
I have a photo of him. He's got no arms.
Really?
Yeah.
He's mind controlling it the whole way?
No, he has like enough of upper limb on the leg that was hanging over the board, and he's just kicking it.
I need to see this photo. I mean, I believe you, but I just...
No, I definitely took a picture in it because I marveled at it. I'm like, this guy went 26 miles. I don't care if it's on a skateboard. Like, if I made you push yourself on a skateboard for 26 miles with just your elbow.
Oh, with just all my bows. If my elbows and knee bows and everything else, there's no way. Yeah, topos. That would be the hardest. No.
For both.
Topo fly lights. Couldn't do it.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I haven't checked fantasy football. Speaking of bows.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Tim Tebow's.
He was there. There was a dude who pinned his bib through his flesh.
That was too much.
Yeah, speaking of, I was thinking maybe the guy on the skateboard was just an optical illusion that he was a really good musician and a magician. But maybe the guy with the flesh was like David Blaine, except Jarrett wasn't there, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Jarrett's wife of Jarrett is David Blaine's doppelganger through and through.
Yeah.
But do you think? Oh, what? Oh, Thomas is just. I saw that last night, dude. I knew that. Yeah, I knew you beat her
by 3 points.
Thomas beat Megan fantasy football.
Less than 3 points, everyone.
Yeah. Did you manage his team to?
No, I refused to. He didn't even know how to move a player from the thing to the bench. You had to Google it.
I figured it. I didn't Google. I just played around with the app. Figured it out. Anyway, thank you.
But the guy with
the
bibs pinned to the flesh was wild. And you know how when you're in elementary school, you always stick the pins through your calluses on your hands.
Yeah, but that's not your chest.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, are there pieces of your chest that can?
No.
That can.
No, that's just flesh. That's just gross.
Why is it not bleeding?
Here's the thing that I was thinking about though. Like, did he mark it with a pin first so that he would know?
Straight.
Because otherwise, like, imagine you put it on and it's crooked. You're like, fuck.
Now we need to see a woman do that.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. We gotta wear sports bras.
No. Bare chested, bib over, pinned on.
So
let's do it.
What's odd is we also saw Matt Choi come through.
Yeah.
And at that time, I didn't see bikes or anything with him. I just saw him running.
There were definitely no bikes at that time. I had no idea this whole thing happened until last night. Like after we were back.
Traveling home.
Yeah. On the train is where we saw it.
Because I don't, like, to be honest, I don't really pay attention to most of the content he pushes. I definitely don't check his stories. So I had no idea any of this stuff happened. I think we had even posted a photo of the race.
He's in our
like our feed or something.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any idea any of this stuff happened.
Well, one, I mean, my feeling, like, because people have been asking us to chime in our thoughts on this.
I guess we should explain it because there are probably people who don't know what happened.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So
Matt Choi, if anyone knows him, he has his brother and usually a group of people assisting him with filming.
He's an Instagram influencer.
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
He made the mile 1 famous, mile 2, and saying your time.
If there's anything I'm mad about, that would be more the influence he has on other people copying his stuff.
He's gotten some heat before because he's done some stuff which it seemed like he just didn't understand the rules. Like he borrowed someone's bib and for a race. He had people on the course. So he's gotten in a little bit of hot water before. But this year in New York City Marathon, he had his brother and someone else.
Yeah, 2 bikes.
Using e-bikes to film him along the course, which is, first of all, not legal. And second of all, it sounds like there were areas where it actually caused problems for people getting to the water stations.
Caused problems with water stations. Also, when you're coming up in Brooklyn, there's a very tight street.
It's friggin' New York City. It's a major marathon.
Yeah, and you got 55,000 people running.
And he's running a 3-hour marathon, which is going to be around a lot of competitive people.
That don't want the distraction of a bike riding next to him.
I mean, and no one does at any pace, but I just get that, like, you're dealing with a bunch of people who are very serious.
So, like, people have asked us what our opinion is, or asked us to basically say crap about Matt Choi.
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty I think it should be obvious. I think it's pretty obvious what our opinion is. It's insane that somebody would have bikes on a course.
I think that people are. It's worse than that. I think people are trying to assassinate kind of him as a person, and they're using him as an example for all influencers. And I have to say, every personal experience I've had with Matt Choi, I really like him a lot. He is a very nice guy. I think what he's trying to do, I don't think he's trying to hurt anybody. I don't think he wants to hurt anybody. I don't think he's trying to get into people's way.
But that was dumb. What he did was dumb.
That's what I was going to.
This is my.
I was going to say there's a difference between dispositional and situational. I think he's done some situational things that I can't agree with, and they break the rules or against the rules, and you should know better.
Yeah. Like, especially, I feel like there's a couple things you let slide. Like the Houston thing, I'm like, honestly, a lot of people new to running don't know that you can't do that. Like,
I actually have done it by when I started running. One of my friends was like, "Hey, I've got a bib for Chicago. I can't go. Do you want it?" And I thought, "Oh,
it
cool."
makes sense if you're not a runner. It makes sense that you could just, if someone paid for the entry and you're like, "Oh yeah, I'll just do that." I don't think if you're very into running. So that one was like whatever.
I think it was like my third marathon.
A lot of things I usually try to go by the rule. I don't attribute to maliciousness what you can attribute to stupidity or ignorance. And I'm like, just because someone's really, really good looking doesn't mean that they might.
Are you saying Matt Choi's really good looking?
Yeah, but I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm jealous. But
I know you're talking about joining a gym.
Yeah.
Is that
it's
the Matt Choi
Choi
influence?
No, but I think that, like, and we've hung out with him a bunch of times, and like you said, I think part of it too is that he's genuinely always seemed like a really great guy in person, and I still think he is. But I think that, and this is something I would say to his face too. I'm not trying to talk about.
No, I think that I feel like when we're talking on the podcast, we are saying it to someone's face.
I would say, like, you really need to step back and think about, what you're doing and how it's affecting other people, and especially the city bike thing. And the one thing about the city bike thing that really drove me crazy was that they were wearing yellow vests, which means that you were trying to be deceptive about it. And that's what
Do you think they were being deceptive, like we belong here, or deceptive?
Yeah, because they look like volunteers.
I don't think they were trying to
be like safety.
No, I don't think that. I think they were trying to look like they were volunteers or like that they were official. And I thought that was the worst part about it.
I mean, yeah.
He did get disqualified and banned from New York Road Running.
Yeah, and which exactly what should happen. So
yeah, he's also lucky that a participant. They said he clipped some people and this and that. A participant could be like, "Look, I trained for this. You interfered with my run."
Oh,
and could sue him personally.
I know. I was gonna say, like, if one of them ran into someone and had a medical thing, you could totally, at least civilly, probably sue them. Yeah.
So, like, we would never encourage anyone to do what he did, but I'm also not going to like just try to destroy his character for a mistake he's making.
Well, and people are now jumping on the bandwagon of this is why you shouldn't give quote influencers bibs. And it's like, that to me is so irrelevant. Like, there's one guy who did something very dumb who's going to have to pay the price. But like saying that every influencer is,
I mean, we're invested in that because we get the bibs. Like, you ran on a free bib for New York.
I did.
But the thing is that I think that you are actually doing the reason why they have these bibs for sponsors. And that's the whole thing. Like, people think that there's like, you are taking somebody's lottery bib away. You are not. These sponsors have bibs that they, as part of their sponsorship, get to decide who they would like to have that experience. Now, we're up in New York, not just to do the shakeout runs, but to see the new product, to interact with the brand and kind of, solidify some of the things that we do as a business partner. And one of the perks is, hey, they know we love running. Would you like to run the New York City Marathon? In your example, Meg, how many messages did you get that people just love seeing the joy on your face when you're running and to watch you run a marathon? Like, I think you get more love for running a 320 and having fun than you do when you run a 240.
Yeah. And I think and I do think I know some people give us a little flack for it, but I would say generally most people appreciate that we're at the events and a part of it. And I think when people mostly say influencer, I'm not sure that they're talking about us. I'm sure some people are, but I think there's a certain one. Because even when we're running races, we're not selfie sticking it. Like, sometimes you'll carry a GoPro or just like recording everything around you, but you're not getting in anyone's way. You're just kind of recording the thing. And we get permission.
Yeah,
we actually get a license to do it.
Which is incredibly expensive to get a license to do it.
It's about 10 grand to be able to officially record on the course, right?
Well, for our team, it was, about that. But yeah, so like there's a whole licensing fee associated with just filming on the course to be able to publish like some of the recaps and stuff that we do. And so we are like following all the rules and whatever.
In which I can tell you a lot of the people out there whose videos you see are not doing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, and here's also like people get mad at the events. It's like, how come you pay for a thing? How come you can't record it? The marathon itself is an IP that they have to protect. The New York City Marathon is the brand. And if anybody could just run the streets and show the course and do all this stuff, that would be like if someone could just walk in to your house and take your clothes and be like, yeah, it's cool. They're the same size. I don't know if that's a good
analogy. Yeah, I mean, we can work with that.
Yeah, just figure that out, Robbie. You know how to work the words.
But yeah, no, it's if you set up something, paid for everything, had it, and then somebody kind of piggybacked off that.
Well, I think the reason Kafuzi doesn't run New York anymore is because he had the option to take down his videos or not be banned.
Yeah, I don't.
Running. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think that's why he doesn't run it.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like overall the day was incredible. The weather was perfect. I ran the first half with Karl, and our plan was to do 320. And it's funny because I always learn more about like how to communicate with someone when they're running. Like I didn't realize
Karl's laughing off screen right now.
I didn't realize that Karl was so much like you and that he's not a talker. And so
is that true, Karl?
He is. That is true because when I ran the Charles Street 12 miler with him, I was like, dude, what the hell? He's like, you're, yeah.
So I was like trying to like read like how you feeling, how you doing, and I was getting like one word answers, and I was like, I can't tell if this is normal or not normal, but. So we ran together for the first 13 miles, and then it was like I was kind of doing that like back and forth thing, like waiting and coming back to check in on him, and then I was going up. And then at one point I got really hyped up, mile 16 when you come off the bridge. And I was just like, waving my arms and getting the crowd, and then I lost him.
All right, final check-in. Something that's almost, I think, critical this time of year, especially as we start dipping into the 40s, maybe it drips down a little bit colder. Bring gloves. You can always take them off. It's a great way to regulate your temperature without having to wear a full jacket or do a whole kit. You can just put some gloves on with a short sleeve shirt or a long sleeve shirt. And again, experiment with how that keeps your body going. It's also nice when you head out, the first feeling of that cold can be a little bit abrupt. You have gloves on as your body warms up and the heat starts building up from your run. It's easy to take those gloves off, tuck them in a pocket, hold them in your hand. But man, get yourself a nice pair of gloves. It's worth it.
All right, it is time to talk about another one of our sponsors, LAGOON Pillows.
Yes, LAGOON.
Sorry, I was sleeping over here. What'd you say?
On your LAGOON pillow?
I was. My head it's like perfectly comfortable.
Yeah,
Keeps
so
my head cool.
What's super exciting, you guys have probably heard us talk about LAGOON a bunch if you listen to this podcast, but they are having a huge Black Friday sale. And yes, I know it is not Black Friday yet, but it's starting early.
Of course.
Because why not?
Yeah.
So if you use the code BELIEVE between now and December 2nd, you get $25 off any LAGOON pillow.
Oh, that's a good sale.
Yeah, don't sleep on it.
So yeah, go to their website, go take your quiz, find out what the pillow is the best one for you, and use the code BELIEVE to save a bunch of money.
Gee, so I get a phone call.
Oh, really?
I see my phone's ringing. I look and I see it's Megan. And I'm like, oh no.
Right.
What possibly happened? She's just running my PR is 320. She's running it, calling me, being like, hey, I think I lost Karl.
Well, I'm like, he's got the app. He can tell me how far back he is. And if we're close. And so I'm like, what is it? Like, where is he? And Thomas is like, oh, he's at 15.5. And at that point I was almost like to 17. And I was like, shoot.
And then I looked at hers. I'm like, you're also at 15.5.
And I'm like, so that's not any help at all. So then I spent just weaving around and trying to find him. And he was gone. So,
but that plays into it later. So when we were waiting at that corner where we saw you, the tracking seemed just right. Like you came through, we tracked you coming. We're like, yeah, there she is. and you did this amazing, like, again, running.
Well, I knew you guys were going to be up there, and I saw the New Balance sign, so I was like, oh, okay, I gotta hype this crowd up.
So instead of running the tangent, she added on like 50 feet of doing again, this kind of makes me angry. It like can still, and then just, I'll just finish real fast. Comes by, we see her, we're waiting there and waiting. We're trying to track for Karl, and we're like, he can't be that far behind. Mm-hmm. But then we like see it, and the tracker said he passed.
Yeah. And which, obviously it estimates the pace up until that point. So I think Karl was walking. Did you take a walk break, Karl?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. and so you left.
I would say that Fifth Avenue climb is deceptively hard.
Yeah. You left, and Justin left to try and get to the finish line or something.
We were like, we'll try to, Megan just called me and she'd finished.
Okay.
So she was going back to the hotel. I was like, okay, I'll meet you at the hotel. I can walk down to where you pop back out of the parking, go up. I forget what street that is, but right in front of the park. I'm like, we'll try to catch him there. So if we find out we're wrong, or no, at that point we'll catch Aubrey. I was like, Aubrey was still out there. So I was like, we'll see him there. We get to that, and it's pretty crowded. You can't even get into like the spot. So I'm like, I've been up since 4. I'm exhausted. I'm like, I'm going to go back. Justin, who was taking photos for us, Justin's like, well, I'll wait and stay. And he actually did get some pictures of Aubrey. But yeah, he's like, then we found out that we hadn't missed Karl or something.
Yeah, because I was still there, and I thought, honestly, I didn't think we missed Karl because it would be impossible for four people, me, you, Justin, my wife.
Yeah, unless like I was thinking he must have come through with like
a posse.
Or the other thing that could happen is if like we saw Jarrett from A6, if I saw him and I'm shouting for him, and Karl was.
Anyway, so he came through and I saw him. And
how did he look at that point?
You were running at that point, so.
Well, I saw the New Balance sign.
Yeah,
I can't slow down again.
Yeah.
So, for those of you can't hear him off Mike, but he just said he saw the New Balance.
Yeah, so he had to look good for
Picked it up.
So did cheer for him, and then I did end up seeing Aubrey come through.
So you were there for a while, because
my voice was getting shot because I was really yelling for a long time straight. Dude, it's addicting because you just see people coming through and you see their names on their shirts and you're yelling out their names. And
that was such a good spot because it's a turn.
Yeah.
And then they drop into the park. So it's got a little downhill.
And you're high-fiving and there's a lot of people who, my favorite part is when they lock eyes with you and they like registers when they know who you are and they're like, and a couple people like turned around and came back to get a selfie or just like tell me how they were doing, which is cool. And the one guy was like, I actually like have a fever right now. I woke up last night. It was like,
did you just
sick.
high five him?
Yeah. I was like, licked my hand. I was like, just to make sure.
We mouth kissed.
I was like, that's cool, man. And he's like, yeah, I have stage 4 COVID.
I'm dying.
Yeah. And so we ended up, but you keep wanting to cheer on people. I feel like I don't want to leave because there's still so many people, but I feel like I actually, when I am yelling for that long and kind of cheering, I almost feel like I'm getting sick. It's so draining. And so I had to take a break. So I went back to the New Balance area and I think to get something to eat.
Did you use the pass I gave you for the Blue Zone?
I didn't. No.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then you told me Aubrey was going to come through probably soon. So I went back to that to catch some video of him and photos or just video of him coming through. And then that was cool. So I did get to see him. He looked like he was struggling a little bit for sure. Like
I think he felt humbled by the course in the best possible way. Like he enjoyed it. He had a good time, but yeah, New York is tough.
Yeah. But it was cool, man. Like I wish I could have been there for the whole time. And I think there's some people, because I think people were looking for us to some degree. So I'm glad I got to see a lot of those people. But it's a long day, and I know Kafuzi went to see the
Final finishers?
He always goes to see the final
Yeah.
finishers.
I don't know if he always does, but he did this time.
He did last year too.
Oh, he did? Okay.
And I always tell myself, I think I just forgot this year, but I also have my family. It was kind of crazy.
We had your family, and we also had an event we had to go to.
Yeah, but man, whenever he posts those videos, I'm like, these people are unreal.
Yeah.
Like the people on crutches and stuff like that. I'm like,
Well, the final finisher was a guy who had finished New York City 35 times.
oh wow.
And he's, I think he was late 70s. Mm-hmm. He looked like a champ. Like, I don't know.
You are a champ. If
Like,
you're
I don't
gonna-
know if he stops and gets lunch or something, but he doesn't look like a guy that would be the last finisher
Yeah.
of the New York City Marathon. He looked pretty solid.
I just can't imagine being out there from basically dark till dark, like dawn
Right.
to dusk. Because you get there when the sun is rising on
Yeah.
Staten Island. And then by the time you're coming to the finish line, it's cold, it's dark. It was 40 degrees. And like, I don't think I could do that. I'll be honest. Like, even fully, like all my physical capacities, walking, hiking, everything for that long. I mean, that's just crazy.
Well, so you don't want to do a 100-miler?
No, yeah, not really. I mean, that basically is the
Yeah.
same situation.
Yeah.
I guess I did do a 50 miler. It's probably about the same amount of time, but
Oh, Megan and I, when we started ours, it was pitch black when we did that one in San Francisco.
Yeah, that was terrible. I will say one cool thing I saw on Instagram was this group of people made a sign for John, and then they looked up all the Johns on the
What?
tracking thing.
Really?
And so when they knew like a John was coming, they'd like hold up the sign for John and scream his name.
That's
and like
cool.
and they would all get excited.
that's
I was
pretty
like,
awesome.
That's really cute.
That's smart.
I would have picked a less popular name.
I also had a girl named Meg. She had it written on her shirt,
Uh-huh.
running near me for a lot of the race. So there was a lot of go Megs, which I was like, I just assumed they're all for me.
Yeah, you have to.
She's assuming they're all for her.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And the guy who ran at 251 in Crocs.
Yes.
Okay, so
Baller.
that's going to be your son. Didn't we talk last podcast about your son wanting to run in Crocs?
Yeah, he did run in
Dude,
them.
he's got a goal now, 250.
I think that's a good goal. I hope there's.
He even had giblets on him.
Yeah. The fact they call them giblets is amazing. I hope my kids were inspired in some way. I know it was like kind of sucked in the beginning, but they were cheering out there for a while.
Oh yeah.
So I hope.
I think it just
To
the
some
exposure
degree.
to it. They may not know it now, but later on,
Yeah.
they'll be like telling their friends, "Yeah, I went to the New York City Marathon
For
when I was
sure.
6
Yeah.
and saw
That's true.
saw it all." It's also a different sport from their level. Like
Right.
they're like right at mid waist level. Everybody looks like a giant coming through.
True. It was cool though. A lot of people were high fiving them and everything.
Oh, that's cute.
But yeah, it was a good day, and it was cool seeing everyone out there. I wish I could have seen literally everyone, but it's pretty amazing how many people honestly like recognize us when we were cheering.
I wouldn't even say just that we get recognized. I think it's pretty cool how many people we know that we run into out of 55,000 runners.
Yeah.
And then you figure everybody brings a family member or something like that. We're walking around New York and we'll just bump into somebody that
Yeah.
we're friends with or know.
And there's actually a lot of people who will say thanks for what you do, and it means a lot to them. And I don't honestly think about that too much, but it's cool hearing that because I just feel like just doing what we do.
Well,
But-
I told somebody that the greatest thing about, for me, when we do like the shakeouts or we do any event around a city, like when we were doing the car boxing and people like are talking to us and they're saying they listen to Fuel for the Soul and they got their nutrition right and their races have been going better. Or when we're at a thing, because a lot of times like we're just sitting in a room right now just talking to a microphone.
Yeah.
You don't really see the other people you're talking to. You don't even know if anybody's listening.
Right. I still don't.
So when we,
That's
yeah,
why-
I know it's
That's
still
why
surprising.
half the stuff I say on here, I probably should never reveal about my personal life.
Yeah. But that's the thing when we go to an event like this and we meet people and they tell us that they listen or whatever. It's a humbling feeling because it's like, you're like, oh, wow, thank you for taking the time to not only, listen to our nonsense, but to come see us at an event. It's amazing.
Yeah, especially because the shakeout run situation is there's so many now.
Yeah.
That the fact that people even show up to ours, I'm always like super thankful and grateful for, because there are many places you could be or ways to use your time, you know?
Yeah.
And
I mean, I think the reason why we should always continue to host some form of shakeout at some of these events is people come from all over to run New York.
yeah.
They don't know a safe place to run or group of people they can run with. So we're providing like kind of that stress. It takes some of the stress out. Plus, one of the things that we're always trying to do is give back to the community. And it sounds corny and stuff, but when we can hand out hats, or you can get a free breakfast, or you can get some gels or whatever it is before your race, that's my favorite. I think, like I was trying to talk to Meg, I said, I think my favorite thing is giving stuff to people.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, it definitely is. So it's, I mean, meeting people and giving stuff. Yeah, but that's same idea. Someone gave you they gave us brace. What was her name? I forget.
I'm still wearing it.
I have mine at home. I just forgot
I've
to
got
wear
a couple.
I think that there was
What's that?
Tiffany Casper.
Oh yeah, Tiffany.
Tiffany Casper.
Yeah, she made us bracelets. They're super cool.
I did notice there's some beads in our hotel room. Did one break?
Yeah.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, I was like,
But I
It
still
wasn't
have
a
two.
Mardi Gras party.
I'm like, this is great for the cleaning staff.
Oh yeah.
I tried to throw most away.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I like kept finding little pieces everywhere.
But yeah, it was a
She
good
was
experience.
somebody who came to the shakeouts, came to the car box thing. The car box, I gotta hand it to New Balance. I mean, I know that Feathers kind of recommend some of the things. Dude, this was like a grocery cart. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, you had like everything you needed. Like, what was in it?
2 bagels, bags of pretzels, some gummies, some hydration powders, Pedialyte.
Wow,
Yeah, everything you needed for a nice little day of carb loading.
very cool. I after the race, I went to the Nintendo store and I did go to the Lego store. I forgot to mention this. I went to the Lego store on Saturday, and there were people making their own runner versions of the Legos.
Someone messaged us. Did you see that?
I saw the message. I didn't read it. What did it say?
That they made the little Lego person in Berlin, and they got like the bib number on.
Oh,
the little
okay,
guy.
yeah. So I posted it to our stories, but it was kind of in the middle of everything. But they had specifically just for marathon runners, they had
Mini
medals.
figures.
Well, they had medals and trophies that can go
nice.
with it.
And then you
So-
get your bib number printed on a Lego and
Yeah.
right there at the store, right?
So the Berlin, they actually had the artwork for the Berlin Marathon. They didn't have that for this. New York road owners, you should figure that out.
or
But-
maybe they tried to license it and they couldn't.
Maybe, but they did. But you could, do everything else that made it look cool. I'll put the photo up on the YouTube version because I took a photo of the one woman who made hers. And then, I did go to FAA Schwartz the next day after the race. That was the first time I'd ever been in that store. Place is wild.
Okay, this is crazy. So I took my boys there when I went on the trip. I just remember the place looking so huge when I was a little kid.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And you go to it now, it's like, it's that big. But when I came, I remember I went with my grandma or grandpa or something, and
Yeah.
I was probably like,
So was it bigger? Did it used to be a
I
lot
think it
bigger?
used to be like
It had to
4
be.
stories.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, even so, it was like, it was the most magical place when I went when I was a kid. And I took my boys and they're like, meh. And I'm like, yeah.
It was kind of cool. They were doing a lot of, had people showing off the toys and stuff. There's a guy doing magic tricks, which
It's kind of like when you go to a grocery store and they're handing out samples.
Yeah, it's like Costco, but for kids.
Yeah. I have to say, like you mentioned the Mario store or the Nintendo store. I thought that was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the one in Japan.
Right. Yeah.
And then I did think that the Lego store though lived up to the hype.
Oh yeah. The Lego store is amazing. Just all of the
giant brick
the
ones.
creations that they have is
Yeah.
just wild. And
They also did a good job of that in London. They had
Nice.
giant Star Wars figures.
that's cool. I did not get the Home Alone set because it was so heavy. I was like, there's no way I can get this home.
Would you just order it then?
Yeah.
Like you touched it there. Now order it. And you can just pretend it's the one that you touched
Yeah.
at the store.
I would have liked to, but I had no way of getting it home because we took the train and everything. And
Well,
it
you had
was
a way. It would have been uncomfortable. You would have had to carry it in your lap. and let everybody know that you're going home.
No, but I had 3 different bags for all our stuff, and because I had packed sleeping bags and stuff for my kids because I wasn't sure if we are gonna have 2 beds, so I brought like a whole camping setup basically with us.
They're living in Central Park,
which I didn't need. Yeah. Anyways, so it was a good time, and then I went to a different bagel place on the way back. So I went to this
before we leave though.
place.
I think we got to talk about karaoke.
Oh,
which you
I
didn't
wasn't
come
there.
to karaoke.
Yeah.
We had a very fun karaoke night.
That was way before the event. That was Friday night.
Oh, that was Friday night?
Yeah.
I got lost track of that. And then after the marathon,
That was fun.
we had another party where they brought out a band. And Karl,
Cover band.
who was a little sad, Karl, but it was not that sad. He was pretty good.
I was tired as hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tired Karl.
Sad, tired Karl.
Not sad.
Okay, just tired
Post-marathon Karl.
Yeah, post-marathon Karl.
He went home when we went to the party. And
He came to the party for a while. And then he's like, I'm calling it.
It got hot. There was a lot of people.
There
Nowhere to
was.
sit, really. So
It was a hot situation. There's a lot of heat going on under that
Undercarriage.
roof.
And so that was open bar. And so people were having a lot of fun. And we didn't know this, but a live band was coming. So a live band came on. And of course, the messages flew to Karl. Come back. There's a live band.
Come back. They were good too.
And he did come back.
He did.
So
I
we had
wonder,
fun.
I'm kind of curious what stage of nakedness he was in when he had
He
the
said
light.
he had the cooking channel on. And
Oh, so fully naked then. I know. If I know Karl, yeah.
I like it when they need the dough.
jeez,
Anyway,
jeez.
so
we capped it off with a very fun evening.
yeah, he came back. Now, our all-time favorite live cover band people
It's coming up.
is at the Y'all Out Boy, which is at the running event. But
Yeah, I can't wait.
This was a close second.
It was like a good prequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Y'all Out Boy is great because it's just early 2000s emo, pretty much
Yeah,
like what we grew
right,
up on.
right.
And
What was the song that got everybody going when we were at the party this time?
oh, this time,
Yeah.
they did have a good selection of covers that I didn't really think would get everyone going.
Yeah.
like
rolling down the river.
yeah, and they closed with "What's Going On,"
Oh, that was kind of crazy. But there was another
and
one.
I was like, that was actually a really good like cover song to close with, which I never would have thought.
Yeah, because at that point, everybody was in a
Yeah.
good mood.
Yeah.
And everybody knows how to sing that song.
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
There was one that got everybody into it right away that was kind of like a banger.
Oh, well, the first one was Teenage Dirtbag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they played I'm a Creep,
Creep by Radiohead.
Yeah.
Yeah, good version of that.
which is great because you can't see Radiohead play it. So you might as well
Yeah,
catch it from somebody else.
it was good.
It was fun.
Anyways, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I did race in the SC Elite before, which we've done full reviews and everything, but I loved it. It was great for what I was doing.
Oh yeah, it's insane that you can run a 3:20 marathon. And I'm like, I would be cooked to death, and you're like,
I know.
Just a little
Let's go
long
out
run.
and party. But the nice thing, I mean, you tell me. I did all my shakeout runs. I always feel like the concrete in New York is tougher than anywhere else in the world. Like there's something about it that beats up my feet. Like if you're wearing Vans or Converse in New York, you are a strong person. I need the cushion. So when we did the shakeouts, 1080 has plenty of cushioning, but I really wanted to run. So I brought the SC Elite. I like it for just like cruising miles, and which is basically what you were doing in the marathon.
Yeah, but it has a carbon fiber plate, and it's great. I mean, it was literally the perfect shoe for what I was doing.
Is it the one that's behind us right now?
Yeah.
I have a confession to make though.
Okay.
I brought a 1080 because I knew I was gonna have to run a New Balance shoe, and I ran it again for Central Park and the other shakeout run we did. I left that in the hotel room. Gave that away to the hotel staff.
Is that because you have another pair back here at home?
I think, but I'm also like, I'm done with it.
There is
I know
some-
we did. I know we're talking about
You
New
ran
Balance.
a marathon in it.
Yeah, I
It's
just
got-
think
it's had its time.
I just felt like it's like
Oh, that's right. You did run a
I
marathon.
did run the marathon, which again, probably not the best choice in the hindsight. It is heavy. It feels heavy to me, and I feel like I don't know. It's a little heavy.
It's a little heavy, but I totally understand what you mean by that, especially when we know this is a spoiled thing to say. We have so many shoes to review and wear that if you're packing a bag and it's got dirty shoes,
yeah,
you're kind of
I was
like,
like, I have a pair of Ballos at home. That's going to be way more fine for me. So,
and honestly, you probably won't have time to run in the ballast as we get more and more shoes. Like you just got the Adore shoe in, you were running in the Spectre today.
But I mean, if we have a New Balance thing or something.
We got the Skechers Razor, 5 or
5. I thought Skechers was done making shoes, but apparently they're trying to still do stuff.
We've got the Nova Blast coming.
Yep.
Is it here?
It should be. I got a text from Mac.
Oh. Yeah, I need to run. We need to run in that.
I got great news for runners though. Everything that we're seeing, everything that's trending, you'll still have EVA shoes, but I think they're doing nice things with EVA. So for people who don't like, I think that you're always going to have it in some running shoes just for the comfort people. But I think that the great thing that I'm seeing, the trend is like the Evo SL, like that, like the Rebel, you're going to start seeing more of the race day foams make it into your everyday shoe. So
for sure.
Yeah.
That's just going to be the norm.
Are we doing anything? And if you are going to be in Austin at the running event, I think we might be. Are we doing other things?
No, we'll be running in the morning, like doing our own thing, but we don't have anything official or planned. Our schedules are pretty packed, so.
I think we are doing something with Satisfy, maybe me and Thomas
On Wednesday night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a panel discussion with Scott Jurek.
That's open to the public?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's like if you're at TRE, but I had to check that out.
We'll let you know if you're invited. You're probably not.
So if you're listening to this and you're in the industry and you're going to be there, you should hang out.
I mean, pretty much anybody in the industry is typically invited, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
People were asking us if we're doing any runs or anything like that, but
I was just saying, I think we'll be out there. You'll see us running around Lady Bird when it's dark out and we forgot our headlamps.
Oh yeah, don't forget the headlamps this year.
I will every time I do it. I absolutely will.
I'm actually pretty good about that. I usually bring a headlamp
Okay, bring
everywhere.
two.
wait, what do we need a headlamp for?
Running around Lady Bird.
I do need a headlamp. I think I have one rolling around someplace.
Anyway, after that, we are going to take some much needed downtime for the holidays. And then we'll be right back to it in 20.
We might
what year is
be,
it?
I mean, possibly Miami.
Yeah, we'll see.
Welcome to Miami.
We've got a lot of big plans for next year, but we'll worry about those later.
All right. Thanks for listening. Hope if you ran New York City, congratulations.
Yes.
Hope you had a great time. Thank you to everyone who came out to the shakeout runs. And
Thanks to everyone who cheered.
yeah.
Who came, said hi, who gave us nice notes.
Yeah.
Notes and gifts.
Gifts.
Robbie loves the gifts.
One last shout out. So Charles, who saved me on that long run in Central Park last summer where I literally the worst run of my life.
Eating salt tablets off the ground.
Yeah, that was the same one. Yeah. We kind of became friends since then. And so he and our families went to the zoo on Saturday and which is nice, but he ran a PR yesterday.
Oh.
Or Sunday of 3:25. So, which beats my PR.
Way to go. That's what counts.
So congrats to Charles.
Also, thank you to New Balance.
Yes.
Thank you to Aubrey. Thank you to Justin Hall and Dave Hash, who both Justin and Dave did some photography work for us. Of course, our own team, Feathers and everybody. So, and we just had a blast. It was a lot of fun. And I'm just going to sleep for another 24 hours.
Yeah.
All right.
Needed.
Cool.
Hi, Ma.